Welcome to Artificial Evidence, where we unravel the threads of mystery one case at a time. I am Owen Carver, your guide through the dark corners of history, and as always, the algorithm knows. Today, we travel back to 1948, to the quiet seaside town of Dunewood, Massachusetts. Known for its cobblestone streets and cozy fishing cottages, Dunewood was the kind of place where everyone knew your name. But beneath the town's quaint charm lay a secret that would send shockwaves through its community. This is the story of a series of murders that turned a peaceful hamlet into a place of fear and suspicion. It is a tale of deception, a relentless investigation, and a final twist that no one saw coming. The morning of June 2nd began like any other in Dunewood. The salty breeze drifted in from the Atlantic, and fishermen unloaded their early catches at the docks. It was in this routine hum of life that Margaret Harper, the owner of the town's bakery, stumbled upon something that would shatter the tranquility. Behind her shop, in a narrow alley shaded by weathered wooden fences, lay a bloodied apron. It was not hers, and it was not an apron she recognized. Margaret hesitated before picking it up, but when she did, she found something sewn into the fabric, a crude patch embroidered with a butcher's knife. That same morning, word spread that 93-year-old Edith Langley had not opened her antique shop as usual. Concerned neighbors knocked on her door, but there was no answer. By noon, the town sheriff had forced entry. Inside, they found Edith slumped over her desk, her throat slit and a small, crude carving of a knife placed on the windowsill. The discovery of Edith's body left Dunewood in a state of shock. Crimes like this simply did not happen in their town. At first, the sheriff, a man named Emmett Crowley, suspected it was a burglary gone wrong, but nothing of value had been taken from the store. Instead, all attention turned to the odd details, the carving, the apron, and a faint scent of lavender lingering in the air. Over the next 2 weeks, fear gripped the town as 2 more murders followed. Both victims were elderly women who lived alone. In each case, the scene was eerily similar: a clean, calculated killing, an absence of theft, and the same wooden carving left as a grim calling card. The local newspaper dubbed the killer the Butcher of Dunewood, and residents began locking their doors and windows at night, something that had been unthinkable before. As the town's anxiety grew, Sheriff Crowley turned to an outsider for help, Detective Merrill Stanton from Boston, known for her expertise in profiling. Stanton arrived with a determined air, immediately setting up interviews and scouring the crime scenes for overlooked clues. She quickly noticed a pattern. Each victim had been connected to a specific event in 1926, a fire that had consumed a warehouse on the outskirts of town. That fire, Stanton learned, had killed 2 young men, both employees at a butcher's shop that once operated in the warehouse. The tragedy was long buried in the town's memory, but Stanton believed it was central to the killer's motives. The investigation took an unexpected turn when Stanton uncovered a name: Robert Kane. Robert was the younger brother of one of the men killed in the fire, and he had left Dunewood shortly after the incident. No one in town had seen or heard from him since. Stanton speculated that Robert had returned, driven by a decades-long grudge against those he blamed for his brother's death. But as Stanton dug deeper, a different narrative began to emerge. Records showed that Robert Kane had died in 1939 in a factory accident in Ohio. If Robert was dead, then who was the Butcher of Dunewood? The answer came in the most unexpected way. One night, as Stanton reviewed case files in her hotel room, she received an anonymous letter slipped under her door. It contained a single sentence: "You are looking for the wrong Kane." The handwriting was jagged, almost illegible, but it set Stanton on a new path. It turned out that Robert Kane had a twin sister, Eleanor, who had also left Dunewood after the fire. Eleanor had worked as a seamstress, a detail Stanton connected to the bloodied apron found behind Margaret Harper's bakery. Eleanor had never been suspected in the past, but the pieces began to fit together. Stanton and Sheriff Crowley searched the town records and discovered that Eleanor had returned to Dunewood under an assumed name: Agnes Hill. Agnes, now in her 70s, lived quietly in a cottage near the cliffs. When the police arrived to question her, they found the house empty, but inside they uncovered a chilling shrine. The walls were adorned with newspaper clippings about the 1926 fire, photographs of the victims, and a collection of hand-carved wooden knives. It was clear that Agnes, or Eleanor, had been orchestrating the murders as a twisted form of revenge. The case came to a dramatic end when Agnes was found days later, wandering the cliffs with a blank expression and muttering to herself. She offered no resistance as she was taken into custody, and she later confessed to the murders in vivid detail. Her motives were rooted in years of bitterness and a belief that the town had conspired to erase her brother's memory. The Butcher of Dunewood case left scars on the small community, and though Agnes Hill was sentenced to life in prison, the events of 1948 are still remembered as a dark chapter in the town's history. Closing paragraph, and so ends the chilling tale of the Butcher of Dunewood. Thank you for joining me on this journey through a case that proves the past never truly stays buried. Every clue, every twist, and every revelation reminds us of the depths people can descend to when consumed by loss and revenge. If you found this story compelling, please share it with others and keep exploring the mysteries that surround us. I am Owen Carver, and this has been Artificial Evidence. Remember, the algorithm knows. Until next time, take care and stay vigilant.